This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Lily Black, Bob Cece, Mictor Robentau, Edwin, Anathos Moonscar, Pamela Isley, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandalu Stormarrow, Tex, Kylin, Arthur Law, Beridan Derard, Cypup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Celine DeLune, Webster Wolf, Severa, Sir Cabarakeel, AJ Brainswordson, Kazran, Ventos Tia, Edward Allond, Nat Clay, Gregorium, Cafe, Ryark Forbear, and Pizza Pockets. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 358. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mail of Vanadar, and Rolodes.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hello.
everyone. It is July 8th, 2023, and it is the calm before the storm, as they say. It's a very quiet week in 14. Again, probably because we're all charging up to FanFest, and also 16 is sort of taking 14's limelight a little bit right now, which is understandable. So not a lot is happening, but we are here to give you some 14 content anyway, as we've always done. So today we are going to read through MogMail. We have a significant amount of MogMail still around that we need to get through. And we will be doing, yes, so send us more, speakersxIV.com/MogMail. Anything, please. We have a great discussion based on a recent article that you may have read. It's about essentially keeping up or knowing how good you are in 14 as a casual player. So stay tuned for that as well. Stay tuned also for the post-show. If you're watching live, we'll be answering questions from the Syndicate, and as is now a tradition, I suppose, we're almost halfway through My Immortal.
Don't think so.
Right. There aren't that many chapters.
Like 40 something.
Yeah, but each chapter is like, what?
Oh yeah,
6
yeah.
paragraphs.
Maybe a quarter through, I think.
Yeah,
Aren't
okay,
we
a
still in
quarter.
the first 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are, but they're gonna go quite fast because some of them are very short. But we'll see. But some are also very long, so who knows?
I mean, it's great. All
Yeah.
things said.
Yeah.
Really enjoying My Immortal so far.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. This is kind of shocking, but there's not a single recent event that we can talk about. Is there anything that we can think of at the top of our heads? No, nothing.
No.
There was like one line at the subreddit where it's like FanFest merch emails have gone out.
Yeah.
We're not covering that as a real story, but there you go.
We all got those emails.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So
This is only for the ones going to NA FanFest, Rollo. You're not going.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be at every
It'd
fan
be weird
fest.
if you got them, Rollo, because
Yeah. Rollo's at
Well,
all
yeah, it would be
FanFest.
weird if you got them because you don't even have the tickets aren't even going to you.
right.
They're going to me.
I know.
Right. So we're just gonna go straight into MogMail. So let's go. This is from Camino Zan from Dynamis. Hey speakers, hope y'all are doing well. I've been thinking about your latest podcast where I think it was Georgi who mentioned how the 4 Archfiends storyline in the MSQ feels more like a trial series. I get that, but I actually think the way the devs have worked the Fiends into the MSQ is a far cry better than having them separated the way it's been done in the past. Why do I say this? Well, right now I'm playing through Shadowbringers New Game Plus and currently in the 5.x patches, where the new weapons are being introduced into the story, and I hate this. It feels intrusive to the rest of the story, especially since after the scene with Van Belsar, the Scions are gathered to discuss the implications of the new weapons. Yet, in the grand scheme of the main scenario questline of Shadowbringers, absolutely nothing comes of it. The weapons aren't mentioned again by the cast, it's optional content that isn't referenced again in any meaningful way. So, why are the 2 voiced cutscenes wasted on the slog of Warlit? I don't care how it's spelled, trial series. Only for it to be ignored by all and sundry in the larger MSQ. In Stormblood, the 4 Lords story could be ignored. In Heavensward, the Alexander story could be ignored. A Realm Reborn and the Coils, well, I actually think this one should be redone and made mandatory. Moving on. In conclusion, I rather like this new approach with the Archfiends. They aren't some huge threat that can be ignored by the story as it moves forward. We get to experience the implications of their threat, we get to see characters we know actually respond to and learn from each encounter. The Archfiends have weight. Golbus especially has the kind of stage presence and gravitas that Xenos could only dream of. It's my hope the devs pull this off again in the following expansions. Bahamut bless, Camino Zan. Well,
I disagree with your opinion on Whirlit. I thought Whirlit was a really great side quest series, but I do agree with the premise that having something locked behind side quest and therefore not be accessible to MSQ can feel awkward.
Yes.
So it's hard to reference things that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if they just said, we're doing this side quest series, but you have to have completed, you have to complete it in tandem with the MSQ or something.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really mind if they did that.
I'm so surprised they haven't made it mandatory yet at this point. Because, why? It feels weird to not do, the main content that isn't the MSQ. You know what I mean? What is playing 14 if you're not at least doing some of the 8-man raids or the trial series? It's just strange.
Playing this game only for MSQ because you're going to be so what did you do? Only sub for 4 months out of the year.
Yeah,
there are people that are like that though. That's why they do this. You could argue that that's not a great thing for the ecosystem of the game, and which I would probably agree with. But yeah, there are people that sub each patch for a month. They do the MSQ. Maybe they'll do some other content, but then they will unsub until the next main patch. I
mean, I know that, but you could just, blast it on their screen the same way you do the MSQ. You know what I mean? If you're just coming back for the month, I don't see how it would be that much more work to come back and do the one trial, or even if you're behind the 3 trials. I mean, I guess the 24-mans, or not the 24-mans, the 8-man raids are a little bit more, considering there's 4 floors for every tier. But
they're in depth, especially the story. But think how long this game is already on a cycle of patch days out. Let's do everything. So you can do everything in a day. So if you've got 1 month, it just seems strange that you'd only do the MSQ. I mean, more power to you if that's what you like.
I would say at least put it under the little the MSQ banner reminder thing.
Where the class quests used to go.
Yeah. Just right underneath there. I don't see how that would be too bad.
Or it could be part of the pop-ups at the start where it's have you tried, you've not done Whirlit yet, or go see Tatari for an interesting new quest, whatever.
Yeah.
It sucked back in the day because Crystal Tower was annoying and gated behind those stupid fates.
Mm-hmm.
So hitting that wall would have been okay, fuck this.
Yeah.
But I mean, now though, it's just, of course it's required now, but there's nothing equivalent to that these days. I mean, maybe the red chocobo thing for Ivalice, but then
that was great.
So it's not.
I don't think the red trigger thing is hard when you're doing it and there aren't like 20 other people trying to do it at the same time.
Yeah, that just was confusing when they were meant. But God, it was great. That was a great.
Very
time.
funny though. I'm so glad I was there to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we already have a thing. So you mentioned the plaster on the screen like we do with the MSQ. The MSQ like thing that pops up when you have MSQ. We already have a system in place that drops like a little quest below it that it recommends you do next. Easy thing to do, I think.
Add
just
a few
add
more
that.
things,
Add like new trial available or whatever, new trial series or whatever.
Yeah, and it's main content. Like it goes on the patch art. It's not side content. Like side content is like the Beast Tribes, the Tataru, like Grand Endeavor. That you don't need the reminder.
That's true side
It's
content.
main content. It's just not MSQ.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have like instead of having your journal just be what you've got and then the complete quest, why not have like a quest available section so you know where a new quest starts?
Yeah.
I mean, we do have the recommendation thing, but it's like per area, and it's not
per area. It's not as simple. When a patch is added, most of the time I'll know where things are. But on occasion, I'll have to go to the lodestone and look at where a quest starts because it's not where you'd expect.
It would have been nice to have some sort of like thing you could look up to look at like
some signposting.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest something, and this would be, I think, very small. You don't even have to do all the UI plastering stuff that we're talking about. I think if you just made the 8-man raids, the 24-man raids, and the trial series, you just gave them a different icon that wasn't the blue one, similar to unlocking everything else. Make it red. Make it like a deep red or something, and like, oh, this is like, it's not side content, it's not the MSQ, it's the secondary content. And this is stuff you do.
I would make it, I think that's a good idea. I would make it like the same symbol as the MSQ symbol, except I'd change the color.
Yeah. That seems fair.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. There are many ways to do that. Yeah. I mean, I would have liked it if they were all mandatory.
It should be required because the thing is, they're just like shooting themselves in the foot really with having this very important side lore that they can't reference in MSQ unless they force you to do it. It just seems awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this in a previous podcast, I think. I do think that there is a high chance that Eden, if not before 6.5, possibly before 7.0, will be made mandatory, just because I think based on where the MSQ is going for at least the next patch, the first is going to be relevant, and I think the possibility of Reen and Gaia being necessary to the story could be something that we'll see in the next couple months.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty big thread to drop. That's an ASEAN. I mean, not like a full unsung.
Exactly.
That's an ASEAN on our side even too.
Yeah.
But then it was even more weird because it was an ASEAN who wasn't really all there because they weren't fully aware of who they were. It was very unique and interesting.
It also has it has ASEAN lore on specific ASEANs as well.
Important ones for us.
Yeah.
Very strange. Also, I will not accept this. I can't accept this level of Xenos erasure that's happening overall. Like,
oh boy.
You can hate modern Xenos. You can hate Xenos post Stormblood MSQ. But I will not allow you to hate Stormblood Xenos, because if you think Golbez has more gravitas than early Xenos did when he kicked our ass, you're wrong.
Mela, you're
Xenos
so
was
right.
the only enemy that they've ever made in this game that actually beat us.
No, that's not true. Don't you remember Ranjit?
Oh, Ranjit. Yeah, he was
Eraser.
just shit Xenos. Yeah, Ranjit, though. Fair enough, though. Fair point. Enemies where you go in and they defeat you early on, and then you finally build up the power to defeat them. That's satisfying. And the ending for Xenos, farewell, my friend. It was good. It was a good ending. Everything after that, shit. That's fine. And everyone said it at the time. Wow, that ending for Xenos was so good. Wow, Xenos was really good. And then the day after, it's like, Xenos was rubbish, and I've said it all along. And it definitely happened.
No, I don't think everyone said that Xenos was because I like Xenos' ending, but I didn't like the rest of Xenos. For
Xenos' introduction is like 20% of his character at this point.
But it's still such a good, like, his bits in base Stormblood are like great.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I think was like out of there in like base Stormblood would be maybe the second time you fight him, which felt like a little repetitive. But
well, I don't like the second time you fight him because like it feels like you're forced into making a bad decision.
Yeah.
Well, it's Yugiri kind of forcing you to. It's just Yugiri
no, because she says she's gonna do it, which is like fine. That's her character choice. But then when you get given a choice, like both of them are like, I'm not. I want revenge. They're both like imply that you think this is a good idea, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Even then, you couldn't leave her because I mean, you have a sense to protect her anyway, even if it wasn't because of that.
But that time on the attack on Rolga's Reach, that was so good. And then all the build up and then the ending. It definitely was good, and people definitely liked it. And there's just this weird community.
It's just that we've gotten better villains since then, probably. Also,
before then.
Emmett Selk.
Emmett Selk's the only. Yeah, Emmett Selk's a notable one.
Listen, but we can't have the Xenos erasure. Like,
exactly.
I feel like I remember talking about it.
No, I remember.
But to have an ally.
We talked. I don't know if we actually covered the MSQ like when it was fresh because we were in a weird spot. Speakers of Idle.
No, I think we talked about it in patches.
Yeah.
And we were too late on talking about Xenos.
Yeah.
In terms of our public opinion, but it's definitely.
I think I was all right with Xenos at launch. I don't remember my opinion anymore. Like on the original one, I know in retro.
The community are breaking you down because of this weird.
Well, I don't have my own memery anymore. But but I definitely know that I didn't like him at the end. Like he was overused. The fact that Xenos survived through 2 expansions.
This is the bad part of him.
Yeah, and that's most of him. That's my point. You can't just look at his rosy baby years when his like adult and senior years are less good.
I mean, like it's like we talked about.
Because I prefer Xenos in Endwalker.
God help us.
That's out there.
I think it is okay.
I like him.
Okay, Georgi, explain what. Okay, hold on. Let's track this. Georgi, finish. Just say quickly why you like him in Endwalker, and then Rollo.
I like him better in Endwalker because the game doesn't take him as seriously. I think it's funnier.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yes, Rollo.
I'll say I think the post Stormblood stuff. I think that is debatable. Like there's a discussion to be had on how Xenos appears and what he does and even like the fan reception of it at the time. But I think it is a bit less arguable for the base Stormblood as far as like fan reception, I would say, because that was definitely a high. Like I don't know if you remember the I mean, I know people didn't like it what happened afterwards, but the idea of him possibly coming back was like, oh, that's like people were kind of like a little excited for that even.
The opinions on him have changed a lot, but I know that he was positively received in base Stormblood, and he was a well-made villain at the time. I just feel like it's been constant for years and years and years.
Yeah, but it's because we now have Shadowbringers and Endwalker Xenos. There's been 2 expansions since then, and he lived through all of them.
Yeah,
and his character was shaped through that. I don't disagree with
modern Xenos is not well designed.
He killed Varus.
Yeah, Varus could have been good.
It's the same thing with like the Warriors of Darkness. Like they sucked at first. That was bad.
Yeah,
they were just bad. They felt,
but it was good in the end.
And I mean, we can evaluate it how it came out overall and how it turned out, which I think was good. But I think we can say it was bad at first, the same way we can say Xenos.
Exactly.
Yes.
Warriors of Darkness were bad at first. I think they're fine in 3.4. I think that but that's similar to how I feel about Elidibus in 5.2. I feel like 5.2 Elidibus feels very generic evil still. and then they don't fully wrap it up until 5.3.
Yeah, I mean they admit it too that they kind of came up with the stuff later, and it shows. But I mean, I think it came out well. Yeah.
They said Golbez has the kind of stage presence and gravitas that Xenos could only dream of, and that is, I disagree with that. And I was explaining.
Well, he might be talking about in the present form of Xenos.
There is no moment in Endwalker where Golbez has even seemed remotely like a villain. He's been incredibly poor so far.
He's a funny, goofy guy. I mean, I like him.
Yeah, he's just a goofy guy in the background. When we finally face him, after 4 patches of killing... I mean, most of the time we kill his minions in dungeons. That's how shit they are. We finally face him. We completely annihilate him in a particularly simple fight. He's dead. And then he does the, I wasn't really dead. I'll summon an even more impressive enemy. He's very boring.
I think we agree on this point. We've talked about this before, that he feels like he just
Golbez is rubbish.
He is a pop-up villain.
He's a pop-up villain. He's weak, and he's
far
lower down than Xenos in terms of nemesis.
It's a Final Fantasy IV insert as well. We had a long discussion about that.
Exactly.
That's not,
I just don't agree with that sentence.
That's fair.
Okay.
I don't know how we ended up on this larger, grand scale. What are your opinions discussion? But here we are.
We talked about the reception too at the time, which is different.
Yeah. I didn't like Yotsu at the start of Stormblood. I hated her. In
really?
fact. Yeah.
I thought she had a nice.
And I remember in every episode we were like, oh god, here we go again with her bullshit. And then we got to the last, the last part of the MSQ, and it was not what we thought. And I ended up liking Yotsu at the end. So, everything.
Okay, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the base game or with the patches at this point?
Yeah, because
with the patches.
Base game Yotsu was very different with
so
patches.
I had a separate journey, like an opposite journey with Xenos, right? Where I hated him over time as the game progressed. And Yotsu, I hated her from the start, and then I liked her at the end.
I liked her character in base Stormblood, and then I was very worried when they brought her back. But they wrapped it up very nicely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There was a moment of hesitation. We're like, oh, is this going to be weird? Are they going to romance or something?
Yeah.
Like, why is she a baby now? What the fuck?
Yeah, and that's
made it very strange.
I think that was my peak hate, because they're bringing her back, and I know what her storyline. Well. Yeah, it's going to be the redemption arc, and it's going to be. But then she didn't get it. She didn't get that redemption arc that we thought she was going to get, and it was different, and I like that.
I suppose it paid off overall.
Yeah, bringing back a villain is usually not a good idea, but it worked with Yotsu.
I think you can do it if you.
It depends on the villain.
It depends on the villain. Like Xenos, it did not work.
Xenos, it shouldn't have. He should have ended where he ended.
Gaius hater.
Yeah, I am a little bit of a Gaius hater. I am a little bit of a Gaius hater.
Gaius is a good.
He got away with a lot of war crimes very easily.
He did. They fucking woobified him.
Yeah. So I am still of the opinion that Gaius should not have been let off that easily. But
I love him. I do. Gaius.
I can't stop. I can't not love him as well. That's the. It's a difficult
war crimes
conflict.
In the name of Garlemald. There isn't a global organization for dealing with war crimes in Eorzea.
That's true.
And then Garlemald went downhill, and even the Senate now. They're dickheads in Garlemald because they live in luxury in their luxury cabin, underground cabin, whereas the poor people have to suffer in tertium. So I don't think he ever would have. But I thought Gaius was brilliant, and finding him in the burn was amazing.
I really want to help the Garlean proletariat rise up.
Yeah.
No, they would call you
the nice train station.
It'd be like, shut up! Why don't you turn on the stupid death tower, idiot?
Oh god. Anyways, we are way lost. We're lost in this MogMail, but
it's a good one.
We had a good discussion. It wasn't so much related to your MogMail, but
but you sparked it. So good job.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the start.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I think we addressed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I will say that we mentioned Golbez because they are saying that Golbez he likes the approach with the Archfiends. I like what they've done to bring the trials into the MSQ. I just wish it wasn't the Archfiends and Golbez.
Yes.
I wish it was 14's own content that was
absolutely
happening here, but that is, alas, not what we got. All right, thank you. Let's see, it's been so long now. Camino Zan from Dynamis. Next, MogMail from Senmi Kaizuri from Lich. I don't know why I said it like that, like it was a curiosity. Hello, speakers. I just remember when Lich was made. It was like one of those they made because all the other servers were full at launch. I have a theory regarding Athena. Please let me know your thoughts. In Shadowbringers, we are told that the final days were caused by the ancients hearing a voice from deep within the star. In the fight P12, we face off against Athena deep within the star in Pandemonium. Halfway through the fight, she proclaims that you shall not forestall my final days. We also know that she went mad during her research of what was named the Heart of Sabik, and we witnessed her cast an albeit less potent form of Ultima. Discuss. Well, yeah, that's interesting.
What was your theory?
Yeah.
You gave us the premise of the theory, but haven't said what the theory is.
Are they implying that the voice is her
voice?
Yeah, I think so.
How?
Well, I don't know. This is a MogMail. It's our job to figure this out.
Athena's timeline is currently now she is alive and trapped in Pandemonium, right?
Mm-hmm.
We made that so.
Yes.
Through the raid series, she came to the Ethereal Sea or whatever, but we defeated her, and Lahabrea changed Pandemonium to trap her in. So it's a prison just for Athena again, isn't it? Or is she she's alive still?
No.
Or has she been defeated fully?
Well, the issue is I don't even think it's her real soul, because in the same style as like there was a soul crystal used to that she used to bring back the memories of Lahabrea and Erichthonios. I think the one that we fought is only a memory as well, Mela.
Yeah.
Her soul is already long since moved on.
Yeah.
So it's not a real Athena.
It wasn't her.
So in Elpis, where is she?
In the Heart of Speak.
What do you mean?
In Pandemonium.
Still trapped in Pandemonium so we don't defeat her within their timeline at all. She exists still
no,
there.
Lahabrea killed her.
Yeah.
Lahabrea killed her, but before she died, she put a fragment of her memory into the Heart of Sabik.
So she's in the Heart of Sabik in Elpis.
But it's yes, but those memories aren't their soul. That's a separate thing.
Yes, yeah. So I don't think there's a way then that could have any reference to
no, because the sound. What was the sound again? Is the sound?
It's the girl.
What's her name?
Meteon.
Yeah.
It was always.
I think
her.
that's.
It was just when she visited, because she was destroying the planet like she did with every other planet, but then they created Zodiac to stop it.
Yeah.
And then they also created Heidelin to stop Zodiac, and then the world was split. And that's why we didn't die immediately, and that's why Heidelin kept vigil over the planet.
Yeah.
Up until a point when Meteon could be defeated.
It's an interesting
idea.
They do say the sound. Yeah, go on.
To respond to chat, they do say that the sound comes from inside the planet, but that could just be like you can justify that as them just not understanding where it came from.
Yeah, if it was all around.
Maybe they thought it would be impossible for it to come from outside the planet.
Yes. As far as we know, Hermes is one of the only people that did experiments in regards to exploring beyond the star.
Yeah.
And he didn't get much back from it.
No, he just got depressed.
Yeah.
Well, he did get much back from it. He just doesn't remember that.
Yeah, that's also true.
Remember that. If you ever go to space, you will just get depressed.
It's true.
Happened to
William Shatner.
Yeah, listen. You will just get depressed if you ever go to space.
Oh,
So watch out.
Don't talk about William
I think
Shatner. He'll block you on Twitter.
Do you know he's hosting a show called Stars on Mars?
Is he?
I did hear that. It's like a game show or
Stars
something.
on Mars.
Stars on Mars.
Yeah, it's a reality show starring celebrities where they are in a replica of Mars in the Australian outback.
That sounds all right. And William Shatner's hosting it.
Yeah, William Shatner's the host.
Isn't he like 100 years old at this point?
Yeah,
Well,
He's 92.
God, that
That's what
man
happens when you
still
go to
working.
space.
Yeah.
You get aged and depressed.
Wow. I'll tell you
Mr.
what.
Bezos. When I was at the
Mr.
edge between
Bezos.
life and
And he goes,
death. And Jeff just wanted to go and party with the young kids.
God, his
That's so
laughter is
funny.
like peak villain.
Oh, I loved that. That was one of the best things we ever watched.
Yeah.
Okay, last William Shatner thing, I promise.
Okay.
There's a random bike shop, like e-bike shop in my town. Like there's a downtown. And for some reason, there's just a stand of William Shatner in there, like a post, like a little stand-up thing. And it's just a random e-bike shop where like you buy or rent e-bikes. It doesn't say why. He didn't like sponsor it, I think. It doesn't say like William Shatner approved. It's just a picture of a fucking Shatner in the window looking at you.
You should,
Maybe
you
Steve
should
thinks
steal
he's
it
in
and
there.
put it in the background.
Oh, yeah.
If
That would be great.
if you have a standee of William Shatner, are you not going to use it?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. They just had it lying around like,
And
why
people
not?
walking past would think, oh my God, William Shatner.
William, oh my God, William
And
Shatner.
just staring out the window.
It's very strange. I'm freaked out every time I drive by.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this short preview of Cerulean Reactor.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. That was the
Make
Oh,
sure
no.
to subscribe.
Shatner moment.
yeah. Okay. Anyways,
So to answer your theory, I don't think that's possible, but I think Athena doesn't get quite enough what she did. Like maybe in the lore book we'll get something about. I
Yeah.
feel like Athena just wasn't explored deeply enough in the Pandemonium.
well,
No,
Yeah.
it was definitely more of a story to explore, like Eric Thonios and La
Exactly.
Habrea,
Mhm.
which I think is fine.
I
She can
like
be in
that.
service of them.
yeah.
But if she had the heart of Sabik or whatever, then that's massive and was only really a thing in the last quest. I'd like to know
Yeah.
more about Athena.
Mm-hmm.
Why they still have the hardest to be? Come on, you gotta
Yeah.
put that in the throw it into the ethereal sea or something. I don't know.
Well, that man, she's got it in his back pocket now.
Well, when you throw things into the ethereal sea, they do eventually come back. That's what happened with the crystal that had Eric Thonios and La Habrea's soul. And by the time it comes back,
Ugh.
people might be like, "What's this cool crystal?"
Yeah.
But that's a future person problem.
Yeah, fuck
That's-
them.
Yeah, fuck them. Okay. Thank you. Send me.
Thanks, Emily.
Next MogMail from Eli Valken from Hyperion. Where's my MogMail? Hi again, speakers. I have a question about the MSQ. I was thinking it's a bit strange.
is not-
Vritra.
That's not what.
That's not the right question on screen.
Oh
Nicky.
shit! It's the wrong.
Isn't it?
Oh no,
Oh, right,
it's
yeah.
the right sender, but the wrong MogMail. Well, I guess I'm
Oh,
just gonna read
jeez.
it. Hi again, speakers. I have a question about the MSQ. I was thinking it's a bit strange Vritra hasn't clued in Tiamat and Reisvelger about what's going on with Asdaya and the Void. She's their sister too, and it just seems odd he hasn't contacted either of them. I get not contacting Midgardsormr since he's asleep after the Omega stuff, though. What do y'all think?
Can you even talk to Resvelger now? Like, is he in Mog home or
No, he's not.
No.
He's not. He's not there right now.
He's hiding in
I
Senate,
think
probably.
And you can't
I don't
access
think
his
any
Jai
dragons.
either.
No,
Oh,
where?
sorry, not
no,
Asdaya, but
like
Tiamat.
Tiamat, you mean?
Yeah.
I've gotten the impression that the dragons are quite like independent in regards to how they behave. Like Bahamut and Tiamat seem to be relatively independent from Ashdaya and Vritra, and like Fresvelga, Nidhogg, and Ratatorska, like none of them really consulted the other dragons during the Dragon Song War either.
Where
No.
I
did
just don't think that
where did Tiamat go after?
Mericidia.
So she's gone home. So, yeah, that's interesting.
I think it.
Is it Vritra? How do they communicate again? They have to like.
They
They
scream.
can roar.
They can roar.
Wasn't
so-
there a thing during the MSQ?
Yeah, there
where
was a
Vritra
roar.
roared out and like tried to contact everyone.
Yeah, he tried to
No,
contact.
he was trying to contact Asdaya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But from Eorzea.
I think they say too that Vitra and Ajda in particular have like a stronger relationship as like a brother sister kind of thing compared to the other dragons, which I don't know. Maybe they have less of a sibling connection like than people would.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, they might not. I mean, they live for so long.
Yeah.
They're
Also,
gonna have issues.
yeah, this is also true. The roars have range. You can't.
Oh yeah, of
You
course,
can't
that
go
makes
all over
sense.
the planet with a roar, unfortunately. Yeah, I guess it's just they're not nearby. Vritra is essentially the only one left right now that can, at least on
I mean, if you
Eorzea.
think about a radius around Favner,
Not Eorzea. Our continent.
I mean,
Yeah.
Trustvelger is pretty reach. I mean, you can't.
Restfeld is
you
quite
can't-
far from Favner.
Yeah, but like the moon is quite far from the star,
Well,
so
that's true.
I don't think Restvelger is necessarily outside. I don't think either of them are necessarily outside of the range of Vritra to communicate with.
That's
Maybe
true.
not.
I think
I
they're
know,
just
yeah.
they're
Red.
not bothering with it in the MSQ is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Do not disturb.
There's too much to like deal with. Okay.
It's like trying to DM Lucio.
Yes. Yes, essentially. All right. Thank you, Eli. I think that's it. Yeah. It's
No, I
just-
think.
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, okay, that's it. I thought you were wrapping up MogMail.
Well, I am. No, I'm wrapping up this MogMail. Thank you,
okay.
Eli. Next MogMail. Okay. This is from Ancilla Starweaver from Lamia. Howdy, speakers. Since finishing the Pandemonium storyline, I've had something on my mind. When casting Ultima during P12, Athena references the Seven Hells. I found it interesting that an ancient would reference the Seven Hells, since I always figured that the heavens and hells were myths made up by Eorzeans. La Habrea mentioned the Hells in A Realm Reborn during the Ultima cast as well, but I took that with a grain of salt. Myths of the Realm also refers to the domains of the 12 as heavens. What do you make of the 7 heavens and hells? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, we know there are 7 heavens and hells. So even though the ones we go to for the gods are heavens, we know there are the hells as well. They're
Well,
established
we know
gods.
we know that there is lore that exists for them. We don't know that they're real.
Well, true. But I suppose the fact we've gone to what we suppose are actual heavens, for now at least, we can say maybe there are the
But
7
what came?
hells.
But what came first? The lore or the locations?
That's true.
I don't think they ever did, but have they ever mentioned in any kind of like side quest or even other stuff about any kind of religion in the ancient world aside from like Zodiark? Like, I don't think there's any kind of
Right,
hearts.
I think.
Yeah, they don't think. I think they've ever mentioned any kind of like.
Okay.
Well,
They never talk about their faith, but we know, like both La Habrea and Athena at various points mention the 7 hells. So at least they have to have some concept of the 7 hells and the 7 heavens.
That gives good credence to the idea that the gods and the heavens and hells are more than just ancients or whatever. They're more. They're something greater than this material plane or whatever. Which is a positive for me. I don't want them to just be ancients.
Is it possible that like they are an ancient creation, but they're one that was made like subconsciously by the entirety of ancient society, such that they don't perceive them as creations because they weren't knowingly made?
That could be possible. Like maybe in their infancy, when they prayed, they actually did creation magic. That could be pretty interesting as a theory. And we know there's the 13th as well, but they don't have any sort of heaven or hell related to them, it seems. Outside of I can't remember what it's called. The Pantheon. Their Pantheon thing. I don't know what it's called.
do you think Lady, oh my, stop.
Lady
stop.
is Rollo's dog for the audio listeners. If you're thinking, it's just there's a random lady in his room.
He just shouts, "Lady,
lady, stop.
you gotta stop.
Lady, you gotta get away from me."
I'm
Get away from me, you weirdo. Lady, a random woman in my house? How dare you?
I'm walking in.
She is going crazy. I'm so sorry.
Today's an episode. I'll say that.
All I wanted to say was, do you think it was like a big thing that Heidelin let out the creation theory thing? Considering she did discover the theory of creation, did they ever was that brought up? Was that like a big shock to the world? Because she discovered evolution essentially, or the source of life or whatever.
She was Darwin.
She kind of was. She's Eorzea's Darwin, I guess. Yeah.
I don't think it is brought up.
No.
I don't know how widespread the theory and belief is in the ancient world. If you can create things, surely you can believe that you were not created. You came from something else, I suppose. Maybe we weren't just placed here. So I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah. I don't know if they'll explore it. That's the trouble with the ancient stuff.
Yeah, because it was framed as like a big discovery that she discovered the source of ancient life. But it was just from the short story or whatever, the tales from whatever. So it's not really expanded upon, unfortunately.
Right.
Because if she didn't tell many people, fine. But if she did let it out, I'd like what's the public reaction? Because she's still in office, so they obviously didn't have an outrage, or was still in office, I guess. And then maybe she didn't voluntarily leave, but was made to step down. Who knows?
That's possible.
Yeah.
The issue is that I don't think we'll ever likely get that much more information about Vana because she is completely dissipated from the universe.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she left us a nice little book conveniently placed somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nice when they just expand on things without needing to.
I was fixing MogMail while we were starting this discussion. I don't know how we're on evolution right now. Are we? What is our conclusion to this MogMail so we can sign off here on this one?
Oh.
What do you make of the heavens and hells? Athena references the seven hells.
Because she references them, I want them to personally be actual gods rather. We talked about it when they first sprung up, whether they were just ancients, whether they're somehow related. I would personally like them to be more than that, just because it feels more RPG, more fantasy than always going back to ancients. But if they can bring it into the ancients in a quite interesting way, that's fine too, I suppose.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, the fact that she says seven hells implies that they at least had some sort of idea of, I don't know how else to explain how she would know of the seven hells unless she studied up on the current world, on the source somehow and picked that up somehow, because for the ancients to believe in the seven hells would also imply that they would possibly believe in the seven heavens, which makes the 12 theory very interesting again.
I mean, since you were distracted, what do you think came first, the seven hells and heavens, or the actual location that we visit in the midst of the realm, or the lore of it?
All right.
Was the lore based on the locations, or was
I don't know.
Did the locations inspire the lore?
We know so little about this. There's not a lot of. It's not much meat to speculate off of on this.
Do you mean the lore is within the context of Eorzea, for an Eorzean to believe it looks like this?
The written word. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
because I don't know.
Has the seven heavens, as we visit them, did they exist in the ancient times, or did they spring up after that?
That's the good question.
Right. Yes. Right. Because from what we've seen, the gods themselves are made up of they are based on what the people who believe in them think of them, right? So did Eorzeans think of the seven heavens? Yeah, I have.
Yeah. The issue I have with the gods being gods is just because, like, we know that, like, there's an entire universe of, like, other worlds with their own existences. Like, gods that are, like, localized to one planet would be very interesting.
Maybe that's why we don't see them so often, because they're always godding on other planets. And now
they could be gods just assigned to a planet. We don't know how like godhood works. Maybe these are like the Etherean. Is that what we call it? Gods.
Hey, maybe when Heidelin ascended to her godhood status, she got just close enough to actual gods to talk to them and be like, "This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Can you like keep an eye on the place after I'm gone?"
Because the fact that Athena, again, the significance of Athena saying the seven hells is pretty big. It implies a lot of things. Yes. So
yeah,
it's exciting, but it might just be that they didn't think about that. But I don't think they would let something that significant slip through.
I mean, it's very possible that just the ancients had a form of religion that like is just never touched upon, which like it might just not be important to us.
But that's cool to think about, because to us the ancients are as gods, so gods believing in gods essentially, like what would their concept of God be?
Well, exactly. And they call the live stream Hades.
Well,
Underworld,
which is kind of hellish anyway.
It's not their concept of God Zodiac, and that's why they made Zodiac in that form?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me wonder a little bit, because like they do have what is essentially ritually offing yourself, which has to. I feel like that does maybe hint at that there maybe was some kind of religion before that, you know? Like I don't think you would just come to that as I don't know, some like super high logical only being, you know, because it's definitely like a practice to, you know, once you're done supposedly with your task on this Atheris, then it's your time to go.
Yeah, you know you've got more to offer.
Yeah,
presumably, like Fernandez.
Well, I mean, next big patch. We will know, probably.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out who that man is who can just find the god's house. And find out who the 13th is.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. We'll skip now to the story, our main story, our great discussion topic. So let's jump into the great discussion. I realize now that it says keeping up in 14, which is not it's not the most accurate description of the great discussion, but it's hard to like give it a title. It's based on an article whose headline is quite beefy. I've been a casual Final Fantasy XIV player for so long, I no longer know if I'm good at my job. So that's the basis. I'll read the article and then we'll discuss our thoughts. I can't remember the last time I played Final... This is from the gamer.com. That is not just, you know, the god, you know, the god of gamers, the gamer. No, this is the gamer.com. I can't remember the last time I played Final Fantasy XIV properly. It must have been many years and at least a few expansions ago when I last considered myself as more than a casual player. Back then, I did endgame with my friends. I kept on top of my gear and eye level religiously and grinded out new gear and tomes each week without fail. More importantly, I felt like I knew my job well enough. Since then, my life has changed and the number of hours I can pump into the game has changed with it. Over the years, Square Enix has made so many tweaks to jobs, their abilities, and overhauls of general systems. Remember TP, anyone? Yeah. We're glad that's gone, and things are so different now. I don't keep track of adjustments. I log in, and sometimes things on my hotbar look different or have disappeared entirely. Many of my roles have decayed in some way. If I switch to a dusty job I haven't touched since the level 50 era, the hotbar is a mess of removed abilities, like some rotting corpse with bits falling off. I have no idea what the rotations are anymore. Even on the one job I rely on most, Bard, I no longer have the confidence I once had. I keep the hotbar maintained at least, though it's probably an out-of-order mess that would make other bards recoil in disgust. It works for me. Am I still doing the right rotation? Am I actually using my role to the best of my ability? I don't know anymore. I've been around for so long that asking someone else for help feels awkward. If I were to say, hey, is this right? I worry others would just look at me like I'm daft because I should know by now. Largely, I just go by enmity these days. If other DPS have less enmity than me in any given party, I think I can't be doing that badly, surely. But I know I could be doing better. My gear is not the best it could be. I don't touch endgame stuff really, so I rely on tome gear, and even then, I maybe get a new piece every month or two. Usually tomes get switched out before I get a full set, because I'm that terrible at keeping on top of my gear. I've been struggling with the idea of whether being a casual player means I will forever be a subpar player, because I don't have the time to make my character better. But I don't think that's necessarily true. While it certainly makes it harder to stay competent, other players manage to be casual and not as terrible as I am. I just need a refresher course in my job, and then with some luck, maybe I can stay up to date with any future changes and treat myself to some shiny new gear more often. This is an interesting perspective, I guess, because I'm recognizing some of this, obviously, because of what we do. I can never be completely off the game for that long, but I do feel that with other jobs. Like I've been leveling other jobs, and for the most part, I'm white mage, and then every now and then I'm like, but what if Bard? And then I switch, and I feel like it wasn't that long ago since I've sorted my hotbar, but there's like 10 gray buttons, and everything's changed. And sometimes there's like subtle changes too. Like I press a skill that I think I know, and it does something completely different because they've changed it in a patch. But I can't imagine logging in, and this is probably the reality then for many going by this article, obviously, if you don't play the game that much, and you go on your main and you don't recognize your hotbar. What do you do?
Sorry to every summoner that happened to for Shadowbring.
Yeah.
If you were just out of the loop and you logged in as like your only job summoner, leveled up, you would see your entire, be like, what the fuck happened?
There's no way you can have summoner as your only job leveled.
That's true.
You have
Scholar,
no, you can.
He's being pedantic.
You have to unlock Scholar.
That's true.
That's technically
fair.
true, I suppose,
Technically.
but
Yes.
you'll always have it on.
If you're a summoner main, let's just say that. You're a summoner main.
I think you raise an interesting point, but I don't think an incredibly high-end skilled player plays every job. I think if you're a very top-tier player, you only play one job. That's why you're so good at it.
Yeah.
I think the more casual you are, perhaps the more you dip into other jobs.
No, I think a person can have a maximum of 3 jobs that they know very well, one of each role.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, okay, I can see 3. Yeah.
But the more you focus on one job, the better you'll be at it. And most people will play a certain role in a raid team as well. So maybe you're a really good paladin, but you'll likely be a very good Dark Knight, Gunbreaker, and the other one, Warrior.
That's kind of off. That's not the point. The point here is that we're talking about good players that are like on like hardcore, always playing. These are some a casual player, because let's be honest,
I don't think you'll be subpar as a casual. I think you'll be par.
You'll be par. 14 is very forgiving and like allowing you to catch up. Gear is easy to obtain. Tomes are easy to obtain, as you know, and thus the gear is available. That part is easy. The job thing is becoming a bit of a problem, because there's a lot of adjustments to jobs that happen, and there's no like. Even when you read it in the patch notes, but I would assume a casual player wouldn't be up to date on the patch notes necessarily. Mm-hmm. They'll be off for a few months, and then they come back, and then
they don't read the patch
it might
notes.
Not even be a gray icon, because sometimes they just change what an ability does. You know, like there's no way for them to know. I wish there was a system in game that would tell you that there's been like an update to your job, like a job guide that popped up. It's like, here's the change.
Go to the website. How dare you?
Yeah, well, even that rollout, just have it like pop up like in game, be like, hey, you can check out the changes here.
Yeah,
like here's what we've done.
It's not good signposting, like at all. Like,
No.
it's very silly.
It is. And
But I will say, I think with the state of 14 and like how like kind of difficulty goes, as far as like most main content that like the MSQ, the dungeons, the normal raids, everything, all normal raids, everything. As long as you keep your GCD rolling, you're fine. Like that, like as far as like a tank and DPS, like I mean the tank one's obvious. Like use your cooldown at the least. And like if you're doing your main combo and just your cooldowns, like you are already fucking above a lot of players, I would say.
Yeah.
But let's literally, I mean, healer's harder because you have to heal and hopefully do
is the
damage.
only reactionary job.
Yeah.
But everything else, as long as you're hitting a button as soon as you can, like you're good. Like you are already contributing a decent amount for the most part.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
because they added a new thing in your abilities menu where it shows you the combos, which is quite useful for. Because normally I would put all the buttons on the bar, press 1, and then that one's gone.
Yeah,
that one's highlighted, so I know this is the combo. We'll follow this one, and then rearrange to make it work for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think playing casually in this game, if you're getting a piece of tome gear every month or 2, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Most content in the game outside of obviously Savage and Extreme, but even the 8-man and Trials, usually it's like 10, 15 levels below the max for each patch. You'll usually be able to keep up pretty easy. I mean,
if you're running experts as well, you're getting gear from the dungeon you're running, probably.
It's a nice way of getting extra gear on that.
Yeah, and since you're not doing like raids like Savage raids, you don't need anything higher than the item level requirement for the next dungeon, right? So you should be fine in this game.
And honestly, I would not judge someone if they came into a dungeon and they literally all they were doing was just like maybe one rotation or like an AoE, and that's mostly it or something. I mean, it would take a little bit longer, which might get me like a little frustrated.
Well,
but
sometimes someone who plays their job will probably offer advice, but I know that in this is a thing in this community that's good luck. I mean, you are throwing yourself into
it's a very strange thing,
because some will take that as rude if you're like, I see you're only using this skill in this dungeon.
No.
There is a rotation you can do.
You're only using thunder.
Yeah.
As long as
you
go first, Rollo.
Go on, Rollo.
It's definitely a 50-50. It feels like. I mean, like it's more likely a nice interaction for the most part, especially if you like word it in a good way. But my brain is like, this will either go so well or so bad, and that's why I think you should just do what the guy did to me in Heavensward. Just say I was the worst ninja they ever played with. That made me so fucking upset that I spent hours getting better at ninja. I became a good ninja, all because the guy said I was bad, and I got so fucking pissed off.
Yeah. Well, some people might never return to the game if they hear that. But
you are only ever really likely to notice how good or bad a player is in expert, trials, and normal raids. 24-man raids, there's too many people for you to really notice anyone that's that good or bad.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you're a casual player and you're really scared, you have got dungeon anxiety or something.
Alliance raids.
Just play a DPS in Alliance raid. You'll get 50 times a day, so you're
a nobody in there. So no one. Yeah.
I mean, you can see people like running against a wall. In Alliance raid, so you'll be fine. As long if you're doing more than running against a wall.
Yeah,
you're doing well.
Hey, just like we said, ABC, always be casting.
Yes.
Hit a button. Hit any button.
Hit a button.
You'll satisfy anybody.
Yeah.
I will say
and then the highlighted ones after that in a rotation.
Yes.
As a healer, Lakil and I have a greater sense of like knowing whether or not a tank is doing what they should be doing. We can feel it when like a tank is not mitigating. We are less able to focus on actually contributing in terms of damage. In regards to DPS, if I will internally judge you if you are like if I am not bottom of the aggro list.
Yeah, I'll probably side eye you if that's the case. But yeah,
the article does make a good point about the enmity list in terms of checking your DPS.
Yeah,
but only if you're a DPS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because healers gain a lot of aggro through healing, and
but also
obviously the tank's going to be tough. You've got a problem.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask as well. I feel like this community is very helpful usually. So
you for asking for help. They're only going to be mean to you if you tell someone what they've done wrong.
Yeah, and everyone knows. And if you're talking to someone who's like a more like less casual, they know how often this game fucking changes. So it's very normal to that people are confused when they return. And you probably have a green leaf, like a returning player leaf as well. So don't be afraid of that.
How?
Yeah.
So we all have a main.
Yes.
Scholar, White Mage, Paladin. I don't know what Rollo's maining right now.
I just love playing everything. I've been doing lots of Dark Knight and Sage this expansion.
How many jobs do each of you think you can competently play without being completely lost upon opening? Like how many jobs? Yeah, can you look at every skill and like know how to play the job? Like you feel like you're not being a detriment if you went straight into content without like reassociating yourself with it.
This might sound maybe a little too flattering myself too much, but I at this point I would say by the end of probably midway or end of Shadowbringers in terms of like patches and all that, and up to now I know the objective of every job. Like I know what the workflow is, and for the most part, how to get there. Doesn't mean I'd be great at it. Like I know what you're supposed to do as monk. I can't execute it that well.
See, that's what I mean though. Like I have a main as a scholar, and there are 5 other jobs that I would feel comfortable enough that like I am contributing and like there's nothing noticeable about my gameplay that's particularly bad. Like I'm fine. I'm comfortable playing Paladin, Warrior, Dancer, Red Mage, Summoner. I can comfortably play all of those if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously,
definitely Paladin.
Yeah.
And Black Mage.
Mm-hmm.
And Summoner, because I learned I never played a huge amount of old Summoner, but I learned the new Summoner because I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
I'd say Warrior, but my Warrior's not capped, so that kind of slightly doesn't count. But I can play Warrior fine at whatever level I am. Maybe Gunbreaker 2, but not hugely.
Not Red Mage?
Red Mage. Yeah, Red Mage is easy. Any of the melee DPS. Maybe Dragoon, if I refresh my memory of it, but not Samurai, not Ninja, not Monk. It's been too long since I've played any of them, and I don't think they're all capped, but
right.
Samurai especially, like Rollo says, I unlocked Samurai in Stormblood and played it a reasonable amount. I know what the goal was, but there was just so many things that flash up with Samurai. What's the next thing? It's so annoying. I just don't enjoy it.
See, that's the thing. Like that's what Rollo was talking about. Like you know fundamentally how the job works, but like you don't necessarily know how to execute it.
Samurai is so difficult as well because you have to do the 1 sen gauge thing for the dot, and then you have to have that maintained, and then you have to go back through and build it back up. Samurai was too much to think about.
Yeah, well,
didn't really have
I will say, Chad has reminded me. Do you really know all of the rotations? Because you might be missing some skills. You might, because you haven't done.
No, one of the ones that I know well, I've done the
skipper.
job quest for.
Okay.
Okay,
see.
he's leveled up now.
Never forget when Mela.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't say Astrologian. I'll say
Mela,
that.
yeah.
Well,
Mela skipped
Mela-
Astrologian's like what Nocturnal Sect
Well,
quest for so long that it was removed by the time he actually got to it.
Well, the irritating thing is that Mela claims that Astrologian is the only healer that he liked, and yet he never completed the job.
So frustrating because I was a white mage, and I'm like, can you please get Nocturnal Sect? No. So we just had fucking two regen mages at some point. It was
as it should be.
And yeah.
No.
Anyways.
Maybe you should have changed.
I mean, I could have, and I think in some cases I did. I think I literally had to play Scholar. So
Good.
you know. Well, okay, so I can do White Mage and Paladin. Those are like burnt in. I can do those, obviously. White Mage is my main, and Paladin was my former main. I can do Astrologian fairly well now. I did try really hard to like get into that after they changed it. Scholar I can do. I cannot do Sage. Sage looks too alien still to me. Like there's some stuff I can play it and get through it, but I don't think I can say competently that I can play it. Red Mage. That's it, I think. I don't think I would be... Oh, well, Warrior. Oh, yeah. Shit, I forgot about Warrior. I love Warrior. Those are the ones.
Tanks are all very easy to play now, though, because they all have the exact same playstyle.
Yes.
For the most part. There's minor differences between them.
Mm-hmm.
Their gimmicks are fairly easy.
They're very much aligned tanks.
Yeah.
Like if I had to make the barometer for my competence, like do an extreme, you know, and do a good enough rotation, I still think I can get a lot done personally. Because all the tanks, I know that shit like the back of my hand. Probably the hardest one is Gunbreaker, but I play enough Gunbreaker like it's whatever. As far as melee DPS, I absolutely know Reaper like the back of my hand. Samurai I got down as well. Ninja I know, just hate. Dragoon as well. Monk absolutely not.
No.
Like I said, I know what to do. I don't want to do it, and I'm bad at doing it.
Yeah.
Bard. I dropped my dots too many times, I think.
Yeah.
To keep that going.
I could play Bard, but I know that I'm not competent at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Machinist, piss easy. Dancer, also fine. Black Mage, I got down. Summoner, fine. I mean, that's easy. Red Mage, same thing. White Mage, absolutely. Astrologian, absolutely. Sage, absolutely. Scholar, absolutely not. So just, I would say 3 jobs I could not play in an extreme, which is like, I would say fairly competent.
That's a good measure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's DPS checks.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's I feel like we've exhausted this. I mean, you just have to ask around. It's the only way to like catch up.
If you are a casual player, you aren't automatically subpar.
No.
Any casual player can hold their own. If you go in and your skills have changed, try the Lodestone page, or just simply take the time to find a training dummy, shoot at it, figure out a quick rotation.
Yeah.
Even when I'm leveling a job that like I don't normally play, I think the point of competency that I strive for is that like I want to be above the aggro of people in alliance raids that I know aren't trying. That is my goal.
Yes, right.
That's a little bit too easy though. Some people are like half awake in that.
Yeah.
Well, that's at least you're putting your weight.
Yeah.
But leveling is easy because you can figure it out as you go along. It's when you go back into a job that changes.
Yeah.
Except Monk, fuck that. I hated leveling it too because it just changes every 10 levels.
I'm currently leveling it. It is.
I got decent at Monk as well towards the end of it, and then I can't play it anymore. But
because like LO50 is like okay. I got what's going on. That's cool. 60, I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So it just gets worse.
Rollo, it was so confusing when the colored things pop up because I'm like, what makes them show up? And I'm like, I'm just gonna and I had like the wrong theory going for the longest time. Like, is it when I'm just gonna do these like form things. But I eventually figured it out. But that took fucking forever. It doesn't help that I'm doing it only while I'm leveling, so I only see it like sometimes and like yeah.
You act as if like monk changes every 10 levels. Fucking black mage in the capstone roulette is fucking rotation.
That's true.
That's true.
I'd never play black mage in anything less than the cap. That is my like. I will not go back to fire 1 and 2. No.
I'm competent black mage at all capstones. And it's sad.
Well, you should be.
I should because all I played
it was your main. Yeah.
But
I
it's
think
very fun to do.
I think kind of sucks though with the state of communities in general. It's not just a 14 thing. Is that like if you wanted to look up a job guide, like if you just Googled it, you're gonna have to join a Discord for like any kind of like high end theory crafting kind of stuff. Like if you really want to be good at like Savage, and you're gonna have to
but
fucking join the balance.
The balance is as an incredible resource. It's very easily presented. You don't have to ask anyone.
No, that's
you don't have to like communicate. You just go in and see, okay, for Paladin, here's a chart of all the skill speeds I need to achieve all these GCDs. You know that the rotation requires 2.5. Are you confident? Do you have the internet for that? Do you need to go a little bit higher?
Right.
It's brilliant. The balance is an absolute...
Yeah, balance is a good resource.
I mean, they're great. I don't want to join your Discord.
But balance is good.
No!
He doesn't want to because Rollo.
Because...
Rollo, it's like, good because it's just one resource. It's all you need in our community. It's just the one. You don't need to join like several others.
I agree.
Join ours, though.
The issue is...
join our
communities.
Yeah.
Discord. Speak. What is the @bucks? What is the thing?
It's discord.gd/@bucks. 2 C's.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it.
Yeah, it's in chat right now.
Oh no, it has a different one.
No, that's not @bucks.
No,
we do still have @bucks.
That's a different one for tracking purposes, so we can see how many clicked. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think Rollo's issue is that, or at least how I feel about it is, I just don't want to join too many Discord channels. I don't want.
I agree.
The minute I have to scroll on Discord, I'm like, well, it's pruning time, baby.
Yeah. But I like that on Discord now you can make a folder, and that's where I put all of those that I don't ever want to see again. I just throw them all in there, and then they're gone from mind and memory.
But it's not good for resources, like as like a learning resource.
I agree.
Because it's not web indexed at all. So you cannot you can search on Discord, but like a search query would be better, especially if there's like multiple places to like multiple balances, something like that. But I'm not there to be a part of your community. I have nothing to contribute. I just want to know the info you have.
That I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
It should be in 2 places. They should have the Discord version and a website.
Discord should just be a community thing. It shouldn't be. Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't get me started on Discord.
Yeah, if I wanted to partake, I would, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm simply here to take information that people have aggregated and discussed.
It's very good. That's a good point in chat as well. A Discord can just disappear as well, and then
if the balance disappears one day, good Lord help.
That's. I mean, I think I know we keep saying the balance, but I think they actually do have a website.
I think the balance has a website. Yeah. This is not trashing the balance, which I think 3 out of 4 here are on at least. So
I'm on there too.
Oh yeah, all the guys on the website.
Okay.
Yeah,
so 4 out of 4 speakers are on.
They do have a website.
I'm not in the balance.
Oh shit! 3 out of 4 are on the balance.
They even have advanced guys.
Yeah.
But in general, in even other 14 resources, not all of them do. Unfortunately, I mean, come on. I'd pay for your domain or something. Come on. I don't want to have to fucking join your Discord.
I mean, I know what you mean, but it's... I only need to look up guides so irregularly that it's not too onerous. But
I wonder...
the ones I look up are like crafting ones.
Are we having...
That has a website.
Is this boomer moment? Is this boomer hour?
It is.
Okay.
It absolutely is. I would much rather go on a fucking BB form and search up guides. That would be way better than having to deal with Discords.
Yeah.
it should have stayed as gaming communities. But when they started adding university discords and everything
Yeah, that
else,
shit is
they
weird
lost
to me.
sight.
I don't quite
They
get
lost
that.
sight.
But
Yeah.
we have Slack already. Like, that's a separate thing. Just keep it on Slack.
Focus on what made you.
You don't
good.
have to be Slack Discord, but oh well. Join our Discord.
I think
Make websites.
I think Discord wants to be Slack because I already know people that started using Discord as Slack, so they're like, well, why don't we compete?
Yeah.
Oh,
Unimaginable.
but I will say a special fuck you to all the past websites I've had to go to that were like BB forums or whatever, and they forced you to sign up. Also, really bad. I do not want to join your
I
fucking
agree
forum.
with
I'm
that.
just here for
Don't
make
make
it
me type
public.
in my email address.
Oh, I hate it when you
agree
like
with
you
that.
see like the headline, you click it, and you're like, oh, this is what exactly what you need to log in to view this content.
Oh
No,
god, yeah.
instant fucking like anger in my like
Yeah.
just as bad.
Time to
with
go
the
on
Discord
10-minute
thing.
mail and just make a good. I mean, I wonder how many. That's not a good thing to do because
Exactly.
that website probably has like millions of just like minute mail accounts that are just taking up space.
Yeah.
So
Well, they deserve it.
yeah,
But at least wait, or I think they would be indexed on like search engines still if they were like a BB form. That was private.
I would
I
assume
think.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Make a GeoCities page. Or
I
something.
love my GeoCities page. It had a JavaScript clock.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I don't know. We are not on
That was all
topic,
over the
but
place.
you know,
Old men. that
old
are
men.
angry.
Yeah,
Look,
we've
he'll-
finally reached old manhood.
Yeah.
Put up a view a visitor counter thing on the website, please. Like says like this many
Can we get
visitors.
guests? What?
Dude, I used to have a website, and I was so hyped. I got one of those counters that had an animation that it switched over when you visited the
Oh.
site. It was crazy.
Gil, please put on the bottom somewhere, like or the sidebar.
Just like
Come
hidden.
on.
Yeah, we can do that.
Could you
Little
change the
Easter
website
egg.
so when you go on it, a big pop-up says, "You are the 1 millionth visitor to this website. You've won a yacht."
With like a fucking seizure-inducing flashing in the
yeah.
background. Yeah, would love that. Okay. That's actually a funny story because when we first made the website, at the very beginning, there was an idea to make a forum on the website because I was still boomer brain back then. And I was like, well, every website like this needs to have a forum.
Well, to be fair, Discord at the time was it like 2014. You were thinking that, I'm guessing.
Well,
2015.
I don't remember when we brought up the website. 15, 16. 16 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was just catching on.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. So
I didn't join Discord until it had been around for a few years, I think. I was definitely not one of the early birds.
Right.
I'd seen it around and thought,
Oh, I
don't
was
need that.
I was an
Oh, I
early
jumped shit
adopter.
immediately. I was like, fuck Skype. I'm so done. Oh, goodbye.
Yeah, fuck Skype for saying
Oh,
Skype
Skype?
never had
Oh.
this issue.
Skype, take us down.
Skype,
Yeah.
Skype is so. How did they have like a fucking like 20-year head start on almost any other like
Well-
video messaging platform and
When
lose
Microsoft
it?
bought it.
Yeah.
How did they
Microsoft
go
bought
from Windows Live Messenger to Skype?
God.
Excuse me.
I've been thinking about MSN so much because it just kind of, or Live Messenger it was called at the end, because I
It was
don't
so good.
remember when it died. You know what I mean? Like it was
No,
just
it
so
was so good.
seamless that one day I was just, oh, they shut down Windows Live Messenger. Anyway,
I still use Skype afterwards to talk with like maybe one or two other people, but it just wasn't the same.
no.
Most
I
people
can't remember the last
transition.
time I used Skype.
No,
Remember we
well,
used
I
to
don't
use-
use it now, but I
We
did
used to use
after.
Skype for video for
Yeah.
speakers
Yeah, we used to
We-
use Skype for speakers.
because
Skype was a backup for a while.
yeah, because also
It was awful.
Discord didn't have like proper video. Like
God, we had everything. We
No.
had the Skype window. We had the weird dual cast thing where we
Yeah.
could see YouTube and Twitch chat. We had
Mhm.
Discord for sound.
yeah,
Then we had the show notes there. They had the. It was a wild
it
times.
was a yeah. So well
Such
timed.
a cursed transitionary
Yeah,
period.
all that for 6 people.
Remember when Discord was, or Skype was it Skype or Discord was so bad that we had to use TeamSpeak as a backup for a little bit.
Yes,
It was-
yes.
Oh my
Well,
god.
It was Skype,
Yeah.
and then Discord was down, so that's why we had
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. We went
Eric
on
let
back
us
to
use his server.
yeah, we used
We're
Eric's
just
TeamSpeak.
reminiscing at this point.
Yeah.
If you want to end and just go into the post show.
Yeah, sorry, we've gone
We'll
into
talk
post
about
show
it there.
All right, more about that in the
We
post show. I
won't.
guess we probably won't.
This was
But
for you guys.
it's a fake tease. Well, who knows? Maybe you'll find out in the post show.
Look, he'll
If you
put the
like
MSN
this,
Messenger
watch the
sounds.
video. Oh, yeah.
Just put it randomly in the episodes.
Just okay. So if you reach this point of the video, there was a point at random in the episode where you heard that MSN sound. That's because Rollo decided it right here. So that's why you heard that.
If you actually do it, thank you.
I will. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHeidelin, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV. Exclamation Discord in chat to join our Discord server. You have to now that we've talked about it so much.
Yeah.
And
Our
remember,
Discord's cool though.
right.
It is cool.
It is cool. Remember, what else? Send us MogMail. speakersofv.com/MogMail. Remember, we need MogMail.
Yeah, we need MogMail.
It's a
And if you
very
like what you
calm
see,
week ahead, I think. So
if
If
you
you
haven't
don't-
subscribed, or you know someone who hasn't subscribed,
don't do the K outro. What the hell? Our podcast viewers don't even know who that is. K's cooking. Anyways, this has been a horrible show. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
You are.
Bye.